We're just talking, man.
Oh, we're just talking?
We're starting intro, man. I just wanted, because he had said something about LeBron earlier. I just want to. Now you say he's not the GOAT. Then we'll get into it. I just want to hear it.
LeBron is not the GOAT.
Well, big words, heavy. Well, explain yourself, man.
So he doesn't have that GOAT mentality. Like, if you look at anybody that we consider the GOAT, they had a mindset that separated them from everybody else. That's it. And because of that mindset, they manifested that GOATness that you see on the court or on the field.
And what is that? And kind of explain, like, what is the mindset you feel a GOAT should have, and what do you feel like LeBron is lacking?
LeBron doesn't have that killer instinct. Like, he's the most gifted athlete we might have ever seen. Like, I think he played football in high school briefly.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you had played football in
the NFL, big ass tight end.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's like
big. 6'9".
Well, Kobe said this about Shaq. Kobe said this about Shaq. He said if Shaq worked half as hard as I did, Shaq would be the greatest player of all time.
Ever, yeah.
Do you feel that was true? That would have been true?
I do feel that.
So we're saying Shaq isn't the greatest player?
No.
LeBron
is.
Interesting.
We talked about this a different day.
The GOAT, and you say he is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to finish with Sam.
So LeBron's the best. So I agree with that. LeBron is the best player ever.
Okay. But so what? Okay, maybe what are defining characteristics of a GOAT? What makes a person a GOAT besides just the greatest player? Like, what other characteristics does he need to possess to be the GOAT?
Well, championships are important.
Okay.
It's a good measurement.
You know, that's kind of always been the measuring stick that we've used, right? Everyone's used championships to say, okay, you know, prior to Brady becoming the GOAT, Montana had 4.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, there's others who had 4. I mean, Bradshaw has 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, no one looked at him as a GOAT because he didn't have that. He didn't dominate the way that Montana did.
Yeah.
You know, so, and Montana had that killer instinct.
Sure. So if you're not winning championships, you can't qualify as a GOAT.
Well, I mean, to even be part of the greatest of all time conversations, you have to have won championships.
And you feel differently, obviously, because you said
no. LeBron's got 4. Right. 1 behind Kobe, 2 behind Jordan. He's still got.
So he has that. So
well, I think
what is he lacking?
Well,
I know I agree with him on the mentality. I agree, 100%.
And I agree with him on the best player. Like, there hasn't been a more
freak athlete with that kind of longevity.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
and still dominates. 38 running circles around rookies.
Yeah,
but we're gonna miss the playoffs.
But they're gonna miss the playoffs.
Right.
Which is not unheard of. You know, Kobe had a decline, and there was a lot of years where they were like, man, Kobe's a problem.
Let's look at those years, though, right? In those years, look at the team. Everyone's saying, well, LeBron doesn't have a team. It's like, what, do you need a super team every single time? I mean, we're not getting to the playoffs. We're not getting to the playoffs with Anthony Davis,
right?
With Russell Westbrook,
right?
And you, like, how are you the GOAT? And you got a double machine, like probably the best to ever do it. And you got AD, who's a freak, and we're not even getting to the playoffs. Like this would be another year consecutive. It'd be a third.
After you guys have won, since the bubble,
we haven't even sniffed the playoffs.
Yeah, this will be the third. If you miss it again, this will be the third.
Miss it.
Hey guys, you know, I'm pardon our conversation. We started off mid-conversation. I wanted to start off. Welcome to Heat Speakers, guys. We have an amazing show today. Great guest, man. This is like a fellow. He's really like a honorable third. Like a third host of the show.
Hands down.
Moving forward, great guy, loan officer locally here. Fresno does a lot of volume, has a lot of insight, guys. He's going to hit you today with some fire. Hit you with a little this, little that, a lot of statistics in the real estate side. But we're just gonna just let you know who he is, guys. He's probably seen him around town with the hat that says Sam lends money. He coined that phrase there. Welcome to the show, Sam Okenyi, man. What's going on, man?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this, huh, Mark?
We have. We've done a couple separate lunches and just get-togethers, but nothing on camera, man. And didn't take very long for us to know we were going to have you on, man. You got a great perspective on not only our profession, the market, but just overall in life, man. So we definitely want you on here to definitely happen. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
All right, Sam Okenyi. I am a loan officer, branch manager, Western Pioneer Financial. Been in the industry now for several years, and yeah, Sam Wins Money is my hashtag on or my handle on Instagram, and you can follow me there. I try to post some good content from time to time.
Right. Great motivation. Was it a Monday?
Mortgage update,
Monday
baby.
mortgage update. You guys follow him and check out those updates every Monday without fail. The latest rate, know where interest rates are and what's going on in the real estate market. So,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be a fire episode. I think I'm gonna sweat about 3 or 4 times. It's gonna be hot, man. It's gonna be hot.
We need that air horn, that fire noise, that bomb drop. Yeah, we need to figure that out, man. We need to step our game up.
Okay.
So Sam, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on the show was because of your years of experience in this field and your ability to break down what exactly is going on in this market and give that Monday mortgage update. I'm a loan officer too, not with the same company, and I still watch that. So you guys should definitely tune in. Tons of knowledge, man. Where do you see this market right now? What do you think?
What's going on, man?
Well, right now it's very interesting.
Sure.
It appears that things are improving.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation's cooling. Rates have been following inflation, which has been good. Activity's picking up. Inventory's still way down. But it's like I said, it's interesting. It's hard to kind of really pin it down and say, okay, this is the direction we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think we're improving. I believe that inflation is going to continue to subside. I believe again rates are going to go with it, and I believe that come the end of the year we'll probably be back in a frenzy if we start seeing rates in the upper fours again.
I agree.
We know that rates have been trending down since when? Since
October.
October.
Yeah, October's the peak.
Over 7.
7%. Yeah,
over 7 in October. It's been trending downwards. But it seems like recently, I believe, we kind of got a little uptick in rates.
A little retraction. Right?
Yeah. So the first 6 weeks of the year, we saw declines from that October trend of it coming down from that peak. And this past week or so, we've seen our first uptick of the year. So, there's still volatility. That's kind of what it just says about the market. And we're gonna continue to see that volatility through the end of the year. I don't think it's gonna be any kind of smooth sailing at this point. It's gonna be a rough ride still.
Mm-hmm. Got it. I know we just had a CPI reading this week, actually yesterday, of inflation. It came in a little lower, like at 6.4%.
Right.
Last month we were at 6.5. So it looks like inflation's kind of trending. It did say like a 0.5 uptick. I believe it could have been another category of inflation or something like that. Moving forward, and you actually were the person that told me this, or educated me a while ago, that the interest rates, mortgage rates, that is, aren't necessarily correlated directly to the Fed. Maybe increase.
Yeah.
So kind of educate us a little bit how that works. So what we know that mortgage rates are more closely connected to the 10-year Treasury, 10-year note. So maybe explain a little bit about that and also what you see moving forward.
Yeah. So the Fed rate affects more short-term borrowing, like credit cards, automobiles, personal loans, SBA, that kind of stuff. Anything attached to the prime rate. And then mortgage rates they're securities. So they're on a market similar to like the stock market.
Right.
And the investors that buy mortgage-backed securities are the same investors that are buying bonds. These are like hedge funds, insurance companies, mutual funds, pensions, retirement accounts.
Right.
Yeah, they're the ones buying up these things as secured assets to put large sums of money in. They can invest billions of dollars at a time very easily, picking up these tranches of mortgages, and they're securitized, right? So when you're handling someone's retirement account, you want it to be secure, right? So and so because the bonds are considered safer than mortgage-backed securities because we do have defaults, and so far the U.S. government hasn't defaulted yet, right? So they right, exactly, big word, right? So they are typically have a higher rate than the bond market does. So that's why when you watch a 10-year Treasury note move up, typically mortgage rates move up with it. Exactly. Right. And then same thing when it goes down, they move down with it as well.
Because we just recently saw that the Fed increased another 0.25%. This month.
Yeah,
this month,
just a week ago.
And when they did that, it was kind of interesting because mortgage rates actually went down a little bit at that point.
Correct.
So shortly after, even though
they weren't too affected.
They weren't really affected.
Yeah, not too bad. No.
That's all that, a lot of people get confused about that. They feel like, whenever the Fed increases their rates, like, oh man, mortgage rates are going up, but not so much, right? It's not really the case.
Yeah.
So good to know. Good to know. So we're rates at anyway today, guys. Like you guys tell me what are we looking at? What was that? Six something?
Yeah, high sixes. Yeah, high sixes.
Six.
Yeah, mid to high sixes is where we're going to be. If you're looking investment, I mean, you're over seven again. I mean, you're 7.5. Investment and secondary homes are always going to have a higher interest rate. It's just the way that it goes.
Sure.
It's a riskier loan. It's not a primary. So if in the event that you own two properties, a secondary and a primary, you're living in one and the other one's you're there half the time, that's the one you're going to let go first if you can only make one payment.
Right.
So they're going to carry heavier risk. They're going to require bigger down payment. And it's going to have a higher interest rate. So interest rates for secondary homes, investment properties, we're looking mid sevens.
Yeah.
I wouldn't discourage the buyers out there.
Absolutely not.
Looking for your home right now, especially first time home buyers. I mean, even though inventory on the first time home buyer level, within the median, maybe like 25% under the median of every market is super hot right now because there's not a lot of affordable homes going on in the market, and that's where the demand is. But there's a lot of opportunity as well, though. I mean, a lot of cases, buyers are coming in and getting the sellers to cover their closing costs, buying down their rate to make their payments a lot lower. So there's a lot of strategies out there, a lot of different programs and products that are available.
There you go.
So I would say this: don't let the news or any of those other outside sources distract you or discourage you from purchasing your house. I would say you talk to one of these guys or a loan officer first, and if those numbers make sense for you, go all forward. But if it's a little bit too much that you can do, then maybe this may not be the time. So but I would say not to rule it out until you've sat down with at least two mortgage professionals, because you want to get at least two different opinions.
Only two, just Sam or I. That's it. Those are the only ones you need to sit down with.
And actually, just one at a time. Just go to him or me, and we're good.
If you call Sam first, then he'll just transfer you to Mark right after. Or if you call me, I'll get you on the phone, both of them at the same time.
In all honesty, definitely, like Rich was saying, reach out to somebody because you will not know your situation. You won't know what you need to improve on. You won't know that you don't need to improve at all until you speak to somebody. And if you wait until you see the home you like to reach out, very likely that home gets under contract, and you've been sitting on the sidelines and you weren't prepared to pull the trigger, and that house is gone now. Now that house is in escrow for another family to move into. It happens all the time. I was just showing Sam how it happened today, off air. So it happens all the time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting peace of mind and knowing that I can afford a home at this price and not buying right now. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all.
Last thing I just want to say quick is I just had an example this last week, same scenario. A longtime client of mine, she texted me a property, investment. It's like a fourplex, right? And it looked really good. He's like, Rich, I like this. I can look into it. One day on the market, only one day. I said, okay, will do. Then the next question I had was, did you do your updated pre-approval yet? She said, oh no, I'm talking to my lender now. Long story short, 2 days later, I follow up, hey, so-and-so how's the loan going? She texts back, well, I'm still waiting for my lender, but that property is already pending.
Yeah. So
perfect example, guys. So that's why it's so important that you do everything up front, because had she already had that pre-approval done, it could have been a great chance she could have been the one in escrow with that property that she wanted. So that's why it's so important. You don't just getting pre-qualified or just learning where you are doesn't mean you need to go out and have to buy it right away. You got more than enough time from pre-approval, at least 90 days. And if you don't do anything different with your credit or go out and buy a Porsche or anything like that, then you'll just get a renewal, fairly simple. So it's way better to be in position to make a move if that opportunity comes across.
I mean, and there's a lot of hesitation. You're seeing it. I'm seeing it. Is that something you and your team are seeing, Sam, with your buyers?
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are still trying to time the bottom, whatever the case, or whatever bottom they think is coming. But at the end of the day, if you're not a mortgage professional or a real estate professional, it's like, how are you really gonna really time something like that?
These things change so quickly.
It changes so quickly, and people, there's a lot of people that were talking about, the sky's falling and we're going to see 10% interest rates and 20-30% reduction in price, and none of that's happened, right?
Sure.
And as inflation's cooling, rates are coming back down, like we said, and activity's picking back up. It's going in lockstep. I mean, literally every 0.25% or more in the rates declining, you're seeing huge upticks in application activity, because the bottom line is this: is one, there's no crash coming, right? People have historical levels of equity. Americans have never had more equity than today. You
So
know,
there's another way out, right?
simple, exactly. 80% of homeowners have a 4% mortgage rate or lower in America
You
today.
guys hear that? That's fire.
So at the end of the day, it's like, everyone's locked into these super cheap payments, right?
Yep.
And rents are still historically high.
Sure.
I mean, they've kind of tapered off a little bit because it got out of hand. I mean, rates were jumping up so crazy. Like, they saw a huge appreciation over the last 3 years. But at the end of the day, they're not declining, because at the end of the day, inventory is an issue, right?
Yeah.
Even for that.
There's not enough.
Yeah. Household formation, because of the market crash back in 08, household formation was occurring every single year, regardless of houses being built. And we underbuilt for over a decade. Last year was the first time since 2008 that we built enough to keep pace with growth and bite into the deficit of housing. So, and that was at 1.5 million homes built and constructed last year. And that's the number we have to hit every single year for like the next 8 to 9 years to catch up with the deficit that we're in.
Yeah,
And so, and the problem is because of rates going up this last year, housing starts are in the toilet. So builders are not building houses anymore.
Right.
I mean, they still are, but nowhere near to the degree, because if people can't afford them, they don't want to sit on a vacant house. So
they'd rather sit on a vacant lot, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Sit on a vacant lot until demand is there. Boom.
Yeah. Why have all the sunk costs on nothing?
Right.
So it's and then again, so things are improving, right? And there's a short window of opportunity that we're seeing right now, where very different than a year ago. Even you can make an offer. It can be a 30-day escrow. You can have contingencies. You can do inspections. You can ask for closing costs. You can ask for repairs.
It's crazy.
And mind you, people are talking about, well, I've talked to clients that are like, hey, I want to buy right now. I'm not going to pay 6% for a rate that it is. Like, okay, great. Don't ask for closing costs. We closed one last week. The buyers did an FHA loan, and they got a huge seller credit, covered all their closing costs. They came in with just their down payment, and the rate was 4.75%.
Oh my gosh! See,
that's
guys?
Fixed.
It's still
Fixed.
opportunity.
30 year. Yeah.
Fixed. Look at
So
that.
not still that's the best opportunity we've seen in 2 years. So it's like, why, and everyone, we all want to do the right thing. Right. So when there was a frenzy, it was a seller's market. Right. And now we're officially in a buyer's market, and you don't want to buy.
We were talking about this on another podcast. When the rates were low, it was not the time to buy. It was so dumb. What are you thinking, nephew? What are you thinking, son? Daughter? What are you thinking buying right now? You have to overpay for these homes. You have to compete with 25 offers. Flash forward 2 years later. That same mom or Thea is still talking to their youngster, saying, "What are you thinking? The rates are so high. Yeah, I know the home prices are coming down, but the rates are high. What are you thinking about buying?" So if you can't buy in that market, you can't buy in this one. You're just going to rent forever? I mean, it's crazy.
As keeps hearing
crazy.
That talk, I would pose the question back to that person. Well, tell me, when is it a good time to buy? And see if they have an answer. Because really, I mean, there's always going to be some type of something going on with the market. It's never like a super perfect time. You just got to go for it and make the deal. If you're not watching the market and actively looking for the deal, or trying to strategize with your lender or realtor and trying to find a good deal, then you're not even in the game to even try to find a deal. So at least get in the game, learn the game, get educated, and follow some good guidance, and it would be great.
Absolutely.
So,
Exactly. Getting in the game.
get in the game.
Sam, how did you get in the mortgage game?
Very interesting question. Yeah. So it was 2005. I was working at a company called The Good Guys, and a gentleman came in one evening. He would always come to the store, buy a bunch of stuff. So I sold him a bunch of stuff. Guy, apparently was doing very well. And he told me, "Hey, I like your style. If you ever want to make some real money, here's my card."
So what were you doing that impressed them so much? Like, were you dealing with customers?
Just the way I handled them, Yeah.
Okay.
And I thanked him, and then like a month later, the guys went out of business. So I was like, I need to get a new job.
There it is.
So let me go see what this guy's talking about. And I went over there. I was going to school at the time, and he showed me what kind of money I could make and how much money they were making. And I never showed back up to school.
So what was he doing?
That's awesome.
He was a this was back during the subprime era.
Was he a
So
loan officer?
he was a branch manager
Oh,
for a subprime mortgage bank called Ames Home Loan.
you want to shut him out, man? You want to say his name or what?
Nah.
Is he
Yeah.
still in business today?
No, he's not. And it was crazy because so I was a kid. I was young and dumb. And so all that really did, because back then I was just a glorified telemarketer.
Mm.
But what that did is it exposed me to this industry, the type of like earning potential it had. And it just gave me a different perspective on things. And so
you had that proof of concept that this works. You saw it.
Yeah, I saw the potential for sure.
Right.
And then so that just kind of kept it, at the forefront for me. And then I kind of drifted away from that for a while, tried a bunch of different stuff. And then back in 2017, I got my license. I was already back like in mortgage, like non-producing, managing that way. And I started originating. So now I'm a producing manager.
And you had a little career. Yours a career as a realtor as well, real estate
Correct.
agent, right?
Yep.
What year were you talking?
I got my license in 13.
2013. So
Yeah.
you're an actual real estate agent, kind of like myself.
Yeah.
And you did that for how many years?
Like two years, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that real quick. I got what was it? I guess obviously you felt back to lending was the true goal and calling, but how was that quick experience with the realtor side? Like, is it something you enjoyed, the good, the bad?
Sure. Being a real estate agent was great.
Completely transparent.
Yeah.
Not that sucked, you know what I mean?
No, it was great. I mean, it just gave me more perspective on the market overall. I did wholesaling for a few years. I worked with some people here doing that and got to work with investors, got to, split some houses and that kind of stuff. And then, so I had that kind of perspective. Then being a realtor gave me a different perspective, and I had already experienced lending a little bit, it was very different than it is today. And so it just kind of made me a little bit more well-rounded, I think. And then, so because I'd played on all sides of the fence,
Sure.
I was like, lending was the way I wanted to go. But when it came to real estate, I did it for 2 years, sold like over 100 houses in my first 2 years in the business as a realtor.
Nice,
Wait. Hold on.
Hey.
That's just
Hit the ground running, boy.
Yeah.
Don't go past.
This
So
is
how
Sam,
many-
man. You expect anything less?
Sold over 100 houses in my first 2 years as a realtor.
So we're averaging 50 a year.
Yeah.
That's out of control.
I started in March of 2013, did my first deal in May, and did 36 sites by the end of the year.
What in the world were you? Because we need to unpack that just a little bit, because there's a lot of realtors lately and lenders that have recently, with the shift in the market, they're ending up getting jobs, applications and leaving the business. We know how super hard it is for the average first, new agent. The average agent does, takes about 7-8 months to do their first deal.
Sure.
What are a couple of things you can let us know, little tricks or whatever that you can talk to someone out there that's new to the real estate side or trying to get success right now or struggling right now?
So a little bit was like luck, a little bit was timing. So I was 27 years old. So my peer group was, maturating. They were getting married, buying houses, starting families, that kind of stuff.
So you had a big database, or you knew a lot.
Yeah, I'm local. So, I had,
but even still, there's a lot of agents here that are born and raised here, graduated high school, graduated Fresno State, still struggling. So it's something about tapping into your sphere, and kind of maybe talk about how did you do that?
So then I had a background in real estate already, because I had dabbled in finance. I had done the investment stuff. So I understood real estate at a fundamental level.
Yeah.
And then I've always understood that this is a contact sport, right? So you have to have your contacts. I have like 8,000 numbers on my phone. I keep everybody's contacts. If I have one conversation with them, I save their number. I put a note. I put a timestamp it. I put a date on it. And so if you ever run across that person again, it's like, hey, I remember them. I can reference, how I met them or whatever the case might be. So when I got my real estate license,
that's very smart.
I was just tapping into my network.
Yeah.
I was reaching out to people on social media. I was posting everything that I was doing.
Were you calling like every day, like everyone in your database, or were you just?
No, I started going through my DMs and just started hitting up people on Facebook. Like, hey, I'm a real estate agent now. I've reached out like 20, 30 people a day. Yeah. Just drop them a message. And then I started buying internet leads. This is before most people were buying internet leads. This is
2013, bro?
Yeah.
You're hitting people in DMs in
I'll slide in that
People
DM,
do.
baby.
Because like a lot of that teaching is happening within the last few years, of like
Yeah.
how to use social media to get business. And you were doing this back then. That's
Yeah.
crazy. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, did anyone tell you that, or you just thought that was something you need to do?
No, so I remember when I got in, the industry's gone through a revolution now. Like, it's fundamentally different. You have a lot of young people. Like, I was 27. I was considered a baby at the time. I think the average real estate agent at the time was like 56 years old. And so I was considered a baby. Now I guarantee that average is somewhere in the 30s.
Sure. Yep.
Because you have 21-year-olds that are doing it now, doing well. So and that was just unheard of. That was unprecedented back in that time. So, and this was before, what's that? All the digital file stuff like dot loop and what's that? What the one that you guys use? Sky Slope. Yeah. I had paper files. So everyone was doing paper files. I remember
you had to have a transaction code.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to Christy Verdugo.
Yeah. Christy.
Yeah, she's the best in the business. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah.
Next to Olive on the bottom. No, that's a different
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real.
But yeah.
So it was just a different time. I looked at how people were farming and doing all this stuff. I was like, I don't want to do it that way. I think that's old school, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, hey, I want to try taking a different approach, because I didn't, when I started, I had 15 grand in my name. I was like, I gotta make it. I have to make this work. I had 15 grand, and it gave me like 90 days of runway.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I got 3 months, and I got to make it work.
Yeah.
And so, so I didn't want to try the farming route because it takes too damn long. You need too much money.
Sure.
And you need to wait like a year for it to like pay off.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let me reach out to everybody that I know. I started calling past investors, looking for opportunities there. I was calling wholesalers, looking for deals that fell through, that maybe I could list. And actually, that's how I got my first listing, was from a wholesaler who couldn't put together this deal on a triplex in Selma. And that ended up being my first deal, and well, not first deal, but my first listing. And but looking for opportunities, reaching out to the contacts, and then once I made a little bit of money, I was like, all right, I need leads. So I was doing open houses like crazy and working those for opportunities, and that worked out really well. And I always had this philosophy: one deal has to lead me to the next.
Right.
So I always like to go 1 for 2, but I had to go at least 1 for 1.
Right.
So if I got a listing, I was doing open houses, and I was going to secure another listing through that. And more often than not, I did. If I got a buyer, I'd look for a referral.
Did someone train you? Did you have a mentor when you first started? Because I mean, this is everything you're saying is something like an experienced realtor would know, or to do. Because a new person or someone that hasn't been trained and taught that would not have an idea. Would understand that whole mentality.
Yeah. So I started on a team, and it was very different back then. So teams nowadays, they give you leads, they give you all kinds. It was nothing like that back then. It was just to have someone to go to answer my questions. And literally, like, I want to like jump. I want to learn everything when I do it. So I remember having him walk me through and just kind of like, I said, highlight all the areas I need to have signed. And I read the contract like 7 times. I took my first listing by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I watched him do it one time, and then I highlight so I didn't miss anything. And then I literally read the contract through 7 times and took it down there and just, here we go. Yeah. Wow, I was like, I'm going to sink or swim. We'll figure it out.
Baptism by fire, man.
That's it, man.
Dive right in.
Yeah. You're one in, maybe 100 or 1,000, I mean, not everyone gets it perfect, especially.
Well, I had no safety net. Like, so when you can't fail, like you have to figure it out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And like, so that's kind of been the way I approach everything.
You got to be, you got to have something to burn. You got to have a reason of like, okay, I'm going to make this happen.
I was tired. I was tired of not being in a certain financial position. Bottom line, I was sick and tired. I was like, dude, I'm done with this. I'll work every day of the week, whatever it takes. And that's what I did. I didn't take a day off that first year. I worked every single day, but it paid off. And then the next year I took a month off because I got married. And so I like went on a bachelor party, then had my wedding, then went on a honeymoon. And, I took a whole month off, and I think that like from January to December, I still closed 50 transactions. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got the mentality. You got the mentality to do that. I mean, I know you said it was a little bit of luck and right timing, but I think most people have these connections and this network, and they've got all these life experience. I mean, maybe not as many now. They're coming in at 21. There's not a whole lot of life experience there, but a lot of people just generally do have these life experiences, and they don't think at all to tap into that when they open any sort of bakery. They're doing taxes now, or they jump into real estate. They don't think to hit that sphere of influence, let them know what you're doing. I don't know if maybe it feels salesy to them, but I did the exact same thing. I came from law enforcement. I let everybody know this is what I'm doing now. Right. This is what I was doing before I left. I dove in, went from W-2 to commission only, and that was it. There was no more checks coming in. But hey, I know this field. I know you guys. What are the boxes you need me to check? Let's see. How I can help you. Let everybody know. You guys similar way in. Similar way in. And you got to have that mind. You have to have that mentality.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of what a lot of probably maybe new realtors or even older, realtors that have been in the business that aren't doing as much, or you can apply to any business besides right. They could be lending and whatever business. I think a lot of people fail to understand that the key component is relationships. It's a contact sport. So it's all about how many people you're talking to, how many conversations you're having, how many people know what you do, how many people are you following up with and staying in contact. A lot of that, because there's so many other ways besides a direct phone call in our business that we can, they tell you we can get business, right? Like you said, farming is one strategy. You can do marketing. You can do all this other stuff, but that is long term. You're not going to see results right away from that type of marketing and putting yourself out there and post. You want to really get straight to the person, to the people, right? You got to call, you got to go reach out, you got to text message, you got to inbox. So I think that's.
And you got to be ready to hear, leave me the hell alone.
You got to be ready to hear.
And you got to take skip for sure.
Yeah. And then there's, and then you got to come from a real good place that you're looking to help people or really concerned about people and really care. And you're just trying to find out best solutions for them. So you don't come across like a salesperson and you're just only calling me because you want a deal. You want a deal, but at the same time, it's not really about that.
It's a win-win. It's a beneficial. It's for me and you. I'm here to solve a problem. Right. You got a problem, and I'm here to solve it.
And it's not a quick thing, too. I think this is key too.
Right.
So when you're you're helping people out, trying to figure out their needs, and you can't expect everyone to be ready today. Tomorrow.
Oh, no.
This relationship might have to go on a year, 2-3 years before you even, before they even give you a chance, decide to do business with you.
Right.
So you got to understand that mentality.
Well, that's pipeline.
Yeah.
I remember my first year, I was like, okay, talking to someone and like, hey, we're not ready to list now, but I remember this one gal in particular, she was a teacher. She's like, hey, but this summer I'll be ready. I'm like, great. I got a transaction in the summer. Like, boom. All right, next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I already know I got one line. I'm already ahead for June, July, August, because I know I got a listing coming and she's going to buy another place.
And you timestamp and you know exactly what you're talking about. So when the time comes.
Set my follow up and I was like, hey, I'll check in with you, 90 days till.
Follow up is key. A lot of people don't realize how important follow up is.
Yeah.
Because you can forget. Because if you don't log that somewhere, and we use what is called a CRM, a customer relationship management.
I didn't have that back then. No, CRMs were no. I mean, they existed, but like people weren't really using them.
Yeah, or something to record, to remember, to call them back.
Such a calendar, or whatever you got. Yeah. If you can't afford one, use your calendar, use your phone.
Just something to remind you, because we're not robots. We're gonna forget 9 times out of 10, and let a lot of things pass.
I know we started off talking about like LeBron and what makes a GOAT and all this stuff like that, and I'm not saying I'm a GOAT by any means yet, but the big thing is this is like when failure is not an option, you're going to find a way to win. Right. And so I think that's the thing, and I'm not trying to tangent on that, but you have to not be okay with losing.
Yeah.
Right. And so like for me, I was like I had nothing to lean on. So I'm like, I have to make this happen. I have to win. Failure's not an option. So I have to get this listing. I have to sell this customer. Bottom line.
Yeah.
On working with me. And then, talking about LeBron, he just passed up Kareem,
right? All
time scorer, right? And the guy gloats for 10 minutes and loses the game. Sits out the fourth quarter.
Took a 10-minute break in the fourth.
Yeah. And it's like, great, huge accomplishment, right? But like, we're going to stop for 10 minutes and then you sit out to lose a close game. See, like Kobe, he's not the GOAT, but he was the closest to the GOAT, right? Jordan's the GOAT. It's irrefutable, right? Here's the thing though. For these guys, failure wasn't an option.
Right.
Like if Jordan, he has all kinds of, he celebrated after he won.
Yeah.
I love LeBron to death, but I remember watching him roll his ankle and needing two guys to carry him off the court, crying like a baby.
Right.
Sorry, like you're 6'9", looking like a baby. And my idol Kobe ruptures Achilles and is trying to push it back down, thinking he's going to reattach it on the side. Like, and he gets up and he shoots his 2 free throws on his own power and walks off the court and walks into the locker room with a ruptured Achilles.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's just a mindset, right? So that's the key thing,
And that's part of the reason AD was kind of not really.
Yeah, he saw
in the whole ceremony process.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about it either.
He was like,
whatever. Yeah, good for you.
we need that.
Good for you. We're still not going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think so, to kind of like make that full circle, is about having a certain mindset, right? I think a lot of people get discouraged easily, and mindset is something you develop too. Just like your sales skills, your closing skills, your phone skills, your negotiating skills. Mindset is something you got to work on too. And having the right mindset is what's going to help you be successful quick. If you have the wrong mindset, you're not going to be successful.
Couple quick tips. What would you recommend someone to get to start a mindset? Is there a book they can read? Is there something they should pay attention to? What are some things to develop that type of mentality?
Yeah, reading and listening to audiobooks, that's huge. Podcasts.
Shout out a couple of ones that you.
Ooh.
No, I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
You would like say, okay, got to check this book out. Because I do Audible myself. What about you? I love Audible. I really love.
I'm not a big Audible fan.
Okay.
I'll read the books. Yeah. Read the book. Same thing. Yeah. Same. I know he's got a library. He's probably flipping through the library in his head right now. There's so many. Yeah. To be honest, it's everything. It's reading, it's podcasts, it's video. Whether you listen to podcasts or you watch it on YouTube, it doesn't matter. It's literally everything. Like the mindset should be, there are limitless places to learn. So everyone's gonna have their preference. You'd rather read or you'd rather listen.
Like Grant Cardone
from Gold.
Okay.
Sharon Lecter and Greg Reed. That's great book.
I like Be Obsessed or Be Average, Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
That's huge. 10X Rule is good. But that Be Obsessed or Be Average is his best book.
What's it called?
Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The magic.
He's like sitting on the jet. He's sitting on the jet right on the cover.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Oh, I got to read this. That was the first one I read.
Yeah. Mindset.
It's so mean.
Oh man.
Damon John. Rise and Grind.
I did. I listened to it.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was a great book.
How I raised myself from success to failure through selling. And it's Frank Betker. Fantastic book on mindset and attitude. Yeah. The guy was a baseball player, was in the minors, never made it to the majors. This is during the recession, got into insurance selling, became a millionaire. Fantastic book. I've read it like 3 times. Yeah.
And Mark, you're on Traction, or you just finished Traction. That's a great book too.
Traction's great for business growth. Maybe not so much mindset, but yeah, it's more. It's in there. You got to have the mindset to even be able to apply this stuff, because you're going to learn so much in that book that if you're just like, I don't really care to grow, I don't really care to reach the next level, the book's going to do you no good. But when you have that mindset, these other growth books that hit specific areas of your life, oh yeah, they're gold, man. They are gold.
Love it.
Sweet. Man, what you guys want to switch gears to, man? What you got?
No, you know what? Let's kind of stay on that mindset, because I know one of the things, at least for me, I think the most important thing to start, if somebody's looking to, just to turn their life around, is absolutely, you got to start with changing your mindset.
100%.
But is there anything that you guys do that kind of helps you maintain that mindset? Because everybody's going to fall off. Nobody operates at 100% of the time. Are there routines? Are there, how important is diet to you guys? How important is this stuff to keep your mindset right?
Yeah.
Mind, body, and soul. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I always tell my team it's about creating a success routine, right? So, trying to get up at the same time every day, having a morning ritual where, maybe you do some reading.
What time do you wake up, Sam?
It varies between like 3 and 4 a.m.
3 and
Yeah.
He is not lying. I see those Instagram stories, and when I wake up at 6, I'm like, God damn, Sam's on time. Sam's running
a whole bunch of
I'm rolling out of bed. This guy's, man, he's rolling into the office. Yeah. Man.
But getting up at a certain time, maybe setting out to read a couple pages. I started doing some meditating again. I found some good stuff on that. I like to review my goals a lot. That's the one thing I think that really grounds me on, like, okay, because you're not going to feel motivated every day.
Right.
You're not going to feel inspired every day.
Yeah.
So then you got to dig back into the motivation and inspiration. So I have a vision board in my office that's got everything that I want to accomplish, basically my life on it. And then I went over that with my daughter, and so she believes that we're going to have and do certain things. So it's like, so then there's that motivation. Like, I can't let my daughter down.
Can't let her down.
I can't have her thinking that her daddy's a liar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that motivates me. Accountability. Yeah. 100%. And it's funny. She even told me one time, like, so I have a picture of a plane on there, and I have a picture of a house and shaver and all that stuff. And, I went over all the stuff with her one weekend when I had him. And then the next time they came over, she was with me in my office in the morning, and she's like, "Hey, Daddy, one day when we get our private jet, can we fly over our house and shaver so we take a picture of it?" I was like, "Baby, absolutely. So I can't let her down. You know what I mean?"
And as soon as you turned around, you went like this,
Let's go.
Let's go. Work,
Yeah,
boy.
I gotta do
better
this.
get to work.
Let's do this.
Puts a little fire up under you.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that's good. You need that. You
Yeah.
need that liability.
Gotta have that.
liability. Something.
That's the why. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
why that get you up and get going. What about you, Rich? Are you?
Well,
You-
I feel like everyone probably should treat their profession, especially if you're an entrepreneur, it's hard enough.
Sure.
Treat it like I equate it to like a professional athlete in a sense, to where, your physical and mental affects how you're gonna perform inside of your business as well as just everything, all the above. So yeah, what I've been doing for the last couple months, actually, I started intermittent fasting,
Right.
which is
Right.
working wonderful. For those who are not too familiar with intermittent fasting, generally you're just letting your body just recover from the last meal you had, basically. So you're giving anywhere between 12 to 16 hours between that meal. So what I do is last meal I try to end it around 8 p.m. at night, and then my next meal probably will be around noon or 1
The following day.
Yeah. So but what it does besides the physical aspect of it, it helps you definitely shrink your stomach. You can lose some pounds and inches. It allows. I'm not a doctor by no means or scientist, but it lowers your glucose and a lot of levels down to where my effects. I feel more clear-headed and more energetic and everything. I'm not, and it just puts me in a better mood, and I'm able to think faster. Mind's going faster. So all that's important. But and I match that with exercising. I try to 4 to 5 times a week. Do some cardio. But yeah, all that is gonna show in your performance. How you your body, your mind, and your soul. Of course, I'm huge on faith. I pray. That's the first thing I do in the morning. I pray. I wake up, I pray. Thank God for waking up. I pray for everyone, all my family, my friends, everyone for that day. I ask, to receive all the blessings and for me to keep doing great things and helping people and being the best I can be. So that's the first thing I do. So that's the mind. That's the soul part of it, right? So, and that's it. I just try to keep getting better. Like I said, like a professional athlete, they're in tip-top condition so they can perform. I feel the same way in business. Right?
Yeah. 100% agree. Like it's to me, when I start to feel not motivated, doesn't matter what it is, to work, to actually sit down and work, or maybe I look for reasons to cut my day short. It could be anything. It's a sporting event, and on something on TV. If I'm looking and waiting for those reasons, I know something's off. I know, because a lot of fun to watch. Basketball, football, whatever it is you're watching. There's a lot of ways you can distract yourself. But I know myself internally, when I start to want to watch those things more, or I want to watch that game, and that game, which totals 6 hours or 7 hours, it's a lot of time to waste. And when I start wanting to do those things, I know something's off with my mindset. And when that happens, I kind of reflect back to myself, dissect my daily routine, and I'm like, man, my fitness has really dropped off. That is where I should be spending my time. And then when I'm in there, for a certain amount of time a week, now the last thing you want to do is ruin those results and go just chow on whatever's in front of you. So then you start getting your diet back in line. Then before you know it, you're a machine to other people, and they think, man, this guy's got 36 hours in his day. We got this. We live in the same world,
Yeah.
man. We live in the same world. I'm
Yeah,
just
we do.
just outworking you, like it. But I mean, like I said, people fall off. So at least for me, family first, and then fitness and finance. Those can interchange depending on where you're at in your life. And the last thing is fun for me. So family, fitness, finance, and fun. As long as I check those boxes off every single day and give them my all in those areas, maybe I do earn to watch my Sacramento Kings be third in the West. Maybe I deserve to watch that 7 o'clock game. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. But as long as I check those things off, keep on top of myself, keep my routines tight, that's going to make you operate at the highest level that you possibly can.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man?
No, I agree. They say the path to heaven, right? It's very narrow, right?
It's just read a scripture, a verse. With that.
Yep. It's the same thing to success, right? So it's like you have to have a specific routine. You have to be, mind, body, and spirit, and you have to prioritize, what's important to you, and everything else has to go to the wayside.
Very true. Yeah. And honestly, when you live, I guess, that lifestyle, I mean, a lot of things kind of work out a lot of times. Of course, everyone has problems in life.
Sure.
It is what it is. But it seems like they may not be you're not creating more problems for yourself, minor problems. But, if you stay on the right path and do the right thing, a lot of times, it's going to work out for you, when you go down a dark road or, do other things or try to take corner or, cut corners and things like that. You might get so far, but it's going to catch up. And it's just, I think it's just best to be the top condition.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man.
You owe that to yourself and the people around you.
Yeah.
To be the top that you can.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, there's so much we can go into on this because.
Absolutely.
But and then like as a father too, like you gotta what are you exemplifying for your children, right? I didn't want to, I at one point I was like 270 pounds almost.
Wow.
And I just finished a bulking session, right? So
you're training to be in a fitness competition.
Yeah, later this year, yeah. So I mean, but I've been down to 205. So we're talking about a 60-pound difference, just in like fat, it's like, and I feel a lot better. I got more energy. I can, as I'm getting older, that's something you got to consider. It's like, hey, how much longevity do I want to have? What good is to go and accomplish anything financially if you don't have the health to enjoy it? So,
100%.
And then again, what am I showing my children? It's gonna be hard for me to tell my kids, hey, you need to, not eat that, and you need to exercise, you need to go do something if I don't exemplify that.
Right.
Very true. So, I mean, you're setting good standards and good habits for your kids to follow as well. They go
100%.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. What else we got, guys? Where we at?
That's been. I mean, I don't know. That's a lot, man. We've said a lot already, man. We're setting people. I hope you guys are taking notes, man. You guys are setting up here to run your life the way you want to. There's a lot of things that we can control in our lives that people forget about. They'd rather focus on all this stuff that there's nothing any one of us at this table can do about gas prices, but people let it run their life. There's a lot of things that I don't care about paying more. I'm just going to go make more.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really that simple. And so, man, I hope a lot of you guys are taking some notes here. Not just here. I mean, there's a lot of different podcasts that have fantastic mindsets and they display that. And man, if you open your mind and take the path of growth, there's nuggets everywhere.
I'd like to ask you real quick, Sam, because there's a lot of people probably listening and just watching and just like at their job, they're 9 to 5, they really hate it. They're just like, man, I just don't know how to lead. What would you suggest to the person? If it's one thing or two things, like, some of the things they could focus on to go for another career path if that's what they choose. If they want to get into the industry of lending or just be an entrepreneur and working for themselves, a couple pointers you would give to them, someone that's just on their job and hate it.
I mean, here's the thing. If you work a 40-hour job, right, it takes 80 to be successful. So you got another 40 hours. So that's the bottom line. I mean, if you're working a job and you don't got a side hustle going that could turn into something, or you're not working on yourself and working on making more money, then and you're unhappy with your situation, then shame on you. Because at the end of the day, anyone who has accomplished anything in life of worth noting, right? Whether it's in business or in sports or whatever, they work like a dog. they're the
Mhm.
hardest working people. Like
Right.
they're putting in the most time, the most effort on themselves, on their businesses, on their health, whatever it is. And so if you're working 40 hours, you have 40 more hours. That's the
Mm.
bottom line.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, it sounds like, find out. I think a lot of it, what it is too. I hear this all the time. A lot of people want to do something, want to go into business for themselves. They just don't know where to start or what business to even get
Sure.
into. I think
You gotta
learning
experiment.
yourself, right?
You,
An experiment.
you asked me about my story. I did this, I did that, I did that, I did this.
Yeah,
I've been all around the spectrum, and I was like, okay, I like this. I went back to that. That's what I'm
Right.
doing.
yeah.
And even now I'm diversifying, getting some other things going. And, I love lending, but at the end of the day too, like, I have things set up to a point where it's like, all right, I can do this now and I can do that now. And so,
Right.
and touch other passions. And so it's like, but you have more time. That's the bottom line.
That's it.
I think a lot of
What you
people
do with
make
your time.
excuses with
Yeah.
their time. They've watched every, brand new show or episode on Netflix or on Disney Plus, and they're up to date with everything going on here. They watch all of these movies, and it's like, okay, well,
And then
shit,
after that, they're like, I don't have time.
I don't have time. Yeah.
Well, you got to be willing to sacrifice something. And when we sacrifice, like, instead of doing this in this couple hours, you need to be focusing on going after what your goal is, or figuring out what it is that you can, potentially turn into a business instead of watching, whatever show you're watching on TV or playing any video game, whatever you're doing. So those are small sacrifices. If you can't put the video games or the TV away for a couple hours, then maybe that's not what you're really wanting. You got to kind of be real with yourself.
I mean, I feel like, you're either going to have excuses or results,
Yeah.
right? You can't have both.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I used to always give myself the excuse I didn't have time. I used to tell myself a lie when I started making money selling real estate. Oh, I traded my 6-pack for 6 figures. That's what I tell myself, which is bullshit.
It is.
It is.
Yeah,
Absolute
I
bullshit.
learned that too.
Yeah.
I learned that my first year in, I gained more weight than I ever
Yeah.
had, and I was like,
That's
what?
cool. Yeah,
this
so
is
you don't
not-
have to. You can have the 6-pack. You can have the 6 figures or 7 figures, and
Yeah,
everything.
more, yeah.
It's about what you dedicate and what you focus on.
Yeah. But I made an excuse.
Yeah.
And at some point I was like, I wanted to remove every excuse from my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kept holding on to that excuse. So I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm done with this.
Mhm.
I want results in everything. I want to be 1% in everything.
Right.
All things. And so making that decision, saying, hey, but again, I have an Xbox, I have a PlayStation, and no, and I touch them for like, I think I played Call of Duty, the new one, like twice. I downloaded it,
Really?
played it twice around Christmas, and then that was it. And I won't touch it again until next year. It is what it is, right?
Mhm.
Like
Not even
movies.
the late hours after work is done.
No,
or weekend?
I'd rather go to bed early and wake up early and do some work.
Dedication.
I'd rather get up and meditate, read some books. There's three hard skills that I want to acquire this year, and I need every single morning to acquire those skills. And me being better at Call of Duty or Madden doesn't get me anywhere closer to my goals. Doesn't make me look better, doesn't make me feel better, doesn't do anything
Gives
for
you
me.
some bragging rights, though, right?
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah, right. With the 13-year-olds on there.
Yeah, right.
Hey, ask your parents if they need a loan.
Yeah.
I think we breeze through this real quick. Let's talk about really fast, just because I don't think people realize your business structure. Like, you got a
Sure.
team.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about like your team and how you built that. Real
Sure.
quick.
So I have a few loan partners. Shout out to Travis and Braden. I got a few ISAs, internal sales agents, right?
Okay.
And so shout out to David and Noah. I have a few business development reps. Shout out to Angela, Carmen, and Johnny. And I have Mike back here. Call him the sniper. He's the one behind the cameras
There
and
you go.
the editing stuff. And
Sam's fancy, guys. He has his own dedicated cameraman that follows him every day. It's like shooting his own reality show right now. There's a cameraman you can't see, but great dude, man. He's amazing.
Video's always fire.
Videos are fire.
Video's
Thank
always
you.
fire.
Like,
good.
yeah,
He's
for sure.
he's awesome.
He's
Yeah, we're
awesome.
gonna have to borrow him one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Um,
but I got a great team. And a shout out to Scott, a Western Pioneer. He's given me a great platform.
Recent switch over to a company, right? How's the new company going?
Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Great. I'm gonna shout out to Alameda too. That's my
Shout
other
out to
family.
Alameda
I
too,
talk to
yeah.
them all the time. Pat and Cameron and all them. Ruby, they took really good care of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Scott. He's giving me a great platform to do what I need to do, and
Really understand,
super
yeah.
happy. Yeah,
Awesome, man.
yeah.
Any questions you got? Because I got one last thing I definitely want to ask them, but
Uh-oh.
No, go ahead, and then I'll finish off with that little motivational.
For sure.
Go ahead.
like we always do, Sam, about this time.
Okay.
Top 3 hip hop artists,
Yeah.
dead or alive.
Top
Let's
3
see.
that are alive.
Dead or alive.
It was tough, man. It was tough So for me, and I'm gonna give him a little scapegoat, but for me, I told Rich I got to do top 3 right now, man. I can't do it. I think I maybe laid out top 3 at one point, but I told him I got to do top 3 right now for me,
Okay.
on my current playlist. But if you want to tackle of all time, dead or alive, you go for it, buddy.
And that's a good point because it does change. And my top
always
three
changes.
change because I would say right now of all time. So right now in this present of all time, and at that time my top 3 was different than maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Right? I could have had it different because there's new artists that come and now wow, this person is amazing, and now they're in my top 3. So yeah, of all time today.
However you want to handle it, Sam.
All right. So it's Dylon.
Nice. Because you spit hot fire?
He spits hot fire,
Spits hot
super
fire.
hot fire. Yes.
To the band.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
what's up.
right.
That's what's up.
No. So Drake's the GOAT.
Drake is the GOAT.
Yeah, period. Dead or alive.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's heavy work.
I mean, his body of work just says it.
Which could be debatable, just FYI.
Hey.
But we can do that. That's all.
Yeah, that's a sidebar.
Debatable.
And then I would say Andre 3000.
Okay.
Solid.
And I'm digging right now because I've been listening to a lot of new stuff. Just I always try to keep up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with M to round it off. I think that's the Mount Rushmore right there for me.
There you go.
Yeah, and mind you, I'm not the biggest M fan. I just think he'll just do stuff that, or actually, you know what?
It's tough, man.
You know what?
It's tough.
Who's out? Who's in?
Okay. This is just because I'm a fanboy. I'm gonna pull M. I'm gonna put Busta Rhymes.
Busta.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's valid. You just don't hear that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Busta because he should come up a lot more in top 3s, top 5s.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people sleep on Busta.
They sleep on him. Yeah.
Busta,
But Andre 3000, Drake, and probably Busta Rhymes.
Solid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are 3 new ones. I don't think we've heard
Yeah.
those. No.
Did yours change any time?
No.
What you got?
Mine, Tupac, M, who you just pulled out.
Yeah.
M, and then it's always the third one, man. It's always the third one. I think last time I said J. Cole, MGK, MG. No way. What is he doing? Rock now? I don't even know what that guy's doing. Gospel or I don't know what he's doing. And J. Cole.
Actually, I'm gonna pull Busta.
Dang, look at him.
I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking.
See, this is how high value Sam is. Sam does what he wants. He's like, you said top 3, I'm giving you top 5, man.
Right.
I'm
I'm gonna throw Ye up there.
It's tough. Yay.
I'm sorry,
Ye is super tough.
his body of work is stupid.
It is.
And his diversity, he was so dynamic. He did everything in music, and I mean, he did a gospel album. That gospel album was fire.
Yeah, he did a lot.
That was his gospel album was fire.
Has anyone done Christian or gospel music and
Not like that.
to hip hop?
Not like that. Yeah.
And to be successful and popular, Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
#1
Through the
wire.
wire.
It's like that's never been done.
No.
A Christian hip hop song.
Do you think since he's canceled, we can get him on heat speakers?
Let's do it.
It might be easier.
It would be easier, right?
Next guest, next show, guys. We're gonna have
Sam's gonna work on that. Since he did top 3,
yeah.
That's in his top 3. Sam's got to work on that.
Yeah.
A special performance.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He didn't have the that intensity like M had, but I mean, his lyrics were crazy.
Oh man.
His lyrics, and his songs, his songwriting was just incredible, and the fact that he produced all his own, a lot of his stuff.
Honestly, that's where you get
and the thing is too is music followed him more than he followed music for a lot of his career. When he did 808s and Heartbreaks, and he made that transition, I was like, oh
yeah,
wow, I'm transitioning. Who we keep forgetting, and I gotta throw us out here before I don't care. I just thought about this the other day. I was like, dude, how is he not coming up? Lil Wayne, bro.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne transition. All this new generation, even now, you can track it back to Lil Wayne, man. What he was doing at that time, early 2000s.
You heard that lighter that on a beat, you knew. Oh,
yeah.
Here he comes, man.
he put so much. He was doing unprecedented stuff back then.
Oh, he's dropping like
all
He
the
was everywhere. Yeah, he was everywhere.
everything he was doing, and the style. I mean, there's so many artists today from that tree, that little tree. Right?
Yeah, Carter.
Drake.
Drake.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Nicki Minaj.
Young Thug. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a long list of artists
Yeah.
who's inspired.
Young Money was a big deal.
Young Money was huge. Yeah,
Young Money was a big
Off the
deal.
Wayne.
All for Wayne.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
he's Carter 1, Carter 2, Carter
Wayne,
3.
You can't sleep on Wayne.
That's Dylon.
That's
He's
Dylon,
he's
Dylon.
super hot fire on all
Yeah.
3 of those. Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
still can puts out great music. You know, I mean, it's not as big as I don't think it was, but he still has some great songs today. Like,
I mean, he's making. You got to remember, like, you know, these guys get paid on their streams. He still streams heavy
oh, yeah.
to this day. Like, his
Classics.
music is, yeah, he's got classics,
Classics.
100%.
So
Yeah.
he did a concert.
I'm gonna listen to Lil Wayne on the way home, man. I
Love
haven't
it.
heard his- Oh,
You know what's interesting?
the mic's off screen. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too. Yeah. No, he's an old soul, man. He's got that Lil Wayne too, man. Oh, I don't know.
He Gen Z. Yeah. Yeah.
So who's your top fan?
Right?
Drake still? All right. Okay. And you're how old? 18-year-old says Drake is the top. Okay.
Go.
You want to go cameraman? Come on. Make this 3 hours long.
Right.
Bring the youngster on.
Right. Love it. Let's hear it.
Sam's cameraman. What's your name, buddy? Mike. Mike, guys. Hey, he's phenomenal. Just let the age please. But go ahead.
So yeah, I say Drake. Drake.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure about. Yeah, I'd say number 1. Now that I think of it, like I can't really think of anybody I listen to. It just
I'm old. What's your generation?
you know, sometimes I listen to DJ Quick a lot. My mom put me on DJ Quick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see.
There you go. I told you he's old soul.
Yeah, he's-
He put on some jams. He put on some
But-
jams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know youngsters like NBA young.
No. That's not me.
Um,
But
That's good. You were raised the right way.
uh-huh.
I see your
Uh-huh.
so I'm gonna have. Actually, what's funny, my daughter.
Really? Oh,
My daughter's 20. She's turned 22.
Oh, wow.
oh, okay.
But okay, yeah, great influence. Anybody else?
I
Third
couldn't
one.
really give you a top right now, but I could just give you a few off the bat who I listen to. Well, yeah, DJ Quick, Nate Dogg sometimes,
Okay.
Told you old soul, bro.
J. Cole,
J. Cole.
Thank
J.
you.
Cole,
Thank you.
and Lil Baby.
Lil
Baby. Yeah, Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't sleep on him.
You know what? Future.
Huge.
Forgot about Future. Yeah. Just recently been picking up more on him too. So
Yeah, Future
it's
songwriting ability is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like he's written. I don't want to quote it, but I know he's wrote a hit song for Beyonce.
Yeah.
A lot of artists that are
Crazy
songs.
Love,
Yeah, right. I want to say
which is like one of her biggest songs.
yeah, crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Future wrote a lot of hit songs. You know, there's a lot of ghostwriting behind the scenes that people are not aware of. Like, you know, a lot of these artists are writing songs, these top hits. So, that's a whole different other story. We'll have to do a hip hop version of Peace Speakers, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so. I got anything else, man? You guys wanna end the
That's
shout out?
it.
Oh, how can people reach you, Sam? You know, they need a good quote.
At Sam Lens Money, just slide in my DM
There it is.
Sam lends money on
Yeah,
everything.
on everything. Yeah.
That's it, my guy.
And that videography. And
Oh,
videography.
yeah. Anybody looking for videography?
right here. Irie Productions, IRIYE Productions on Instagram.
There it is.
Yeah.
Productions. And how long you been doing video?
About 7 months, 7 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
just that short.
7 months.
It's like a pro
Damn,
already.
look, that quality looks nice,
seven,
man.
7, 8 months. Going
Okay.
about that time.
Oh, you're moving.
So if you hit them up now, catch them while the rates are kind of
Yep.
decent, because you know another year from now you're not gonna be able to afford it.
All right.
It is.
Great having you guys. Man. Hey, a pleasure, Sam. Hey, you're an honorable third guest, bro.
Love it.
Third host, I should say.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Come back anytime. Who knows? One day maybe shooting in your backyard or something like that.
We should do that.
Yes, we will. We
Yeah.
will do definitely do that. Yeah.
For sure. What's the thing about it?
Stick top.
Stick talk.
Stick time.
Go.
All right, man. Anything
All right.
You want to end with the motivational?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's end it that way. We spent a lot of time talking about mindset today. and and focusing on growing yourself and making sure that you're operating the best that you can. But a lot of times we find ourselves not doing that because we have a lot of talent, just naturally. Not everybody here at the table, not necessarily point anybody out. But I heard this quote one time. It said, talent will take you places your character can't sustain.
Mhm.
So as talented as you may be, right, and as great as you may be in your field, or this new entrepreneurship that you get into, this business that you start, your talent may take you places, but you may get to a level where your character is gonna send that crashing down. We see it happen all the time with professional athletes, artists. A lot of people throw the excuse out, I don't have time to do this or that or work out, and they think they need to be brilliant, like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or something. A lot of these guys that shoot up, this FTX dude, the crypto guy,
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried.
talent, right?
Got to get into that.
We'll get into that another time, but the dude's clearly intelligent. He's talented. He was able to do what he was doing, but his character,
Yeah.
look at his character. That's the whole reason why he fell. So your talent will take you places your character can't sustain.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Let's end that there.
Aspire.
Yeah.
Let's end that there.
Yeah.
Heat speakers.
Amen. Let's
Good
go.
show, brother.
Yeah.
Good show. All right.
Make sure you guys following us on Instagram, all the above. Follow Sam Lynn's Money and my guy right here, Irie Productions.
All right.
Guys, have a
Till
great
next
one.
time.
Let's go. Wait, yay.
That's it. Good.
Oh,
5 o'clock. That's perfect.